Welcome to On-Screen Learning. Describe the importance of fluid. Water is an essential fluid of our bodies because it controls several key body functions. It helps maintain the blood volume, regulates body temperature within a tolerable range, and facilitates muscle contraction and relaxation. Sweating is the primary process by which the body maintains its body temperature. Sweat production is usually increased during an exercise or with an increase in ambient temperature and humidity. Sweat evaporation from the skin leads to heat removal as well as fluid loss from the body. Most of the time, athletes get fluid deficiency because the fluid loss rate is higher than the fluid intake during their exercise. Therefore, it is necessary to drink sufficient fluid to compensate for fluid loss during exercise. Drinking an adequate amount of water or any other liquid significantly reduces the risk of heat stress, water, and electrolyte loss due to dehydration. Besides decreasing overall performance, chronic dehydration also results in muscle cramps and spasms due to excessive electrolyte loss. Dehydration and performance. Dehydration and the body's performance are directly related to dehydration, resulting in a gradual decrease in physical and mental performance. Continuous exercise in hot and humid environment depletes the body's energy reserves rapidly due to fluid loss and cause an increase in body temperature and heart rate. Studies showed that fluid loss equal to 2% of the total body weight is sufficient for generating a detectable decrease in the body's performance. A fluid loss greater than 2% can cause headache, nausea, severe diarrhea, kidney and gastrointestinal problems. It is impossible for a person suffering from dehydration to exercise or to train at an optimum level. Therefore, immediate fluid replacement is required for the replenishment of the body's performance. Can you drink too much? Drinking too much fluid in any condition is not suitable for health. Excessive fluid intake interferes with the normal functioning of the body. Generally, it is recommended that fluid intake must not exceed the amount of fluid loss due to sweat. Overhydration during exercise results in hyponatremia, low sodium concentration in the blood, causing headaches, disorientation, and in severe cases, coma or even death. However, such extreme cases are sporadic. Evaluating your fluid losses. Having an idea about the rate of fluid loss or sweat rate can give you an indication of how much fluid you should take before, during, and after the exercise. A registered sports nutritionist can measure such parameters, take into account the environmental conditions, and give necessary information to a person for designing an individual fluid plan. The following steps that can be taken to measure fluid losses. Weigh yourself in minimal clothing before starting your workout. It is preferable to empty your bladder before weighing. Weigh yourself once again in minimal clothing after completing your workout. The difference in your body weight before and after ending your workout reflects your total fluid losses. Weight loss during exercise is mainly due to water loss and sweat, and it requires immediate replacement after completion of a workout. Other minor fluid losses in spitting, breathing, vomiting, etc. are of the least significance. Monitoring the extent of such fluid losses gives an idea of how much fluid is required to replace during and after exercise. How much fluid and when? Fluid intake during and after exercise is vital for the overall health of the body. Fluid intake during exercise energizes the body and prevents loss of strength and stamina due to dehydration. At the same time, fluid intake after exercise rehydrates the body. How much fluid one should take and at what time depends upon the individual and the type of physical activity or sport he/she is doing. Here are some essential tips. The body should be well hydrated before starting exercise. This significantly lowers the risk of body becoming dehydrated during exercise. However, a person may feel bloated due to excessive fluid intake before starting a workout, but this will have little effect on performance. Develop your fluid plan based on your observed sweat rates during exercise and total fluid losses after exercise. a person will continue to lose fluids via sweat and urine after training. Therefore, it is recommended drinking 125 to 150% of fluid over the next 2 to 6 hours after completing the exercise to overcome fluid deficiency due to exercise altogether. Different exercises present different challenges for achieving optimal hydration. Ensure that your client gets breaks between exercises to allow drinking for rehydration. The ACSM states that it is recommended that individuals drink about 500 milliliters of fluid about 2 hours before exercise to encourage adequate hydration and leave time for excretion of excess ingested water. Feeling thirsty is not an adequate indicator for determining the hydration status of the body. Usually, a significant fluid loss has already been made before a person feels thirsty. Similarly, a person's thirst can be satisfied before total fluid losses are entirely replaced. What is the best fluid to drink? Depending upon the choice, there are many drink options available to maintain the body's hydration status. Plain water is a perfect and effective drink option available for fluid replacement in low-intensity sports or workouts. In case of severe dehydration, carbohydrates and electrolytes can be added to water. The oral rehydration solution thus produced is beneficial for treating severe patients of dehydration. The ACSM states that during intense exercise lasting longer than 1 hour, it is recommended that carbohydrates be taken at a rate of 30 to 60 grams per 1 hour to maintain oxidation of carbohydrates and delay fatigue. Caffeine. There are several drinks commercially available in the market that contain caffeine. Consumption of a smaller number of such drinks is not harmful. Doses of caffeine, up to 75 to 200 milligrams, help to sustain exercise performance. Alcohol. Alcohol is also not recommended for use immediately after exercise because it impairs the recovery process of the muscles after exercise and athletes' ability to rehydrate properly. If one wants to drink alcohol after exercise, he must maintain his hydration status first and drink it in a sensible amount. Check if you're dehydrated. The NHS states that symptoms of dehydration in adults and children include feeling a sense of thirst. A person's urine is dark yellow and strong-smelling pee. Feeling lightheaded or dizzy. Feeling tired and exhausted. A dry mouth, lips, and eyes. Peeing small amounts and as infrequent as 4 times a day. Dehydration can happen more easily if you have vomiting or diarrhea, heat stroke, drink too much alcohol, sweated too much after exercising, diabetes, a high temperature of 38 degrees Celsius or more, been taking medicines that make you pee more, diuretics. Fluid Guideline Summary. Dehydration has several harmful effects on the overall body's performance, including loss of coordination, inability to make decisions, increased risk of heat stress, etc. Try to equalize your fluid loss with fluid intake as nearly as possible. Make sure you drink at a comfortable rate. Implement your fluid intake plan in your workout or training sessions. Analyze your sweat rate and fluid loss by weighing yourself before and after workout or training sessions. Plain water is an excellent drink option for fluid replacement during short durations and low-intensity sports, whereas sports drinks are mostly preferred for high-intensity and endurance sports. Alcohol is not an ideal drink option.